here at IDT, and I'm here today to talk with you about our low power wireless power transmitter kit. And here it is right here. This is what you receive in the mail, and this is called a WP3W-RK kit. This kit is good for 1, 2, and 3 watt power applications. The output will be 5 volts, and depending on the configuration, 1, 2, and 3 watts, as I said. So let's just get started and open it up and see what we have here. So inside there's 2 sleeves, and on the one sleeve I find the TX and the RX. I know the bags look alike. I can tell because I'm up close. We'll be opening these up and seeing what's in the bag. And on the other side, you'll find extra coils, because like I said, it was a 1, 2, and 3 watt kit. So the 2 watt coils are already on the kit, and in this extra bag is the 1 and 3 watt for the TX and the 1 and 3 watt for the RX. And finally, you have a USB to micro USB cord. This is for powering up the TX. We won't be using this. I'll just be using a simple wall wart, but either works. This could plug into your computer or just a wall wart, and you're good to go. Okay, so what we have here is, first of all, out of the folder comes the TX, or transmitter. And you can see here, this is the 9235A-R. That's the chip, and you can see here's the coil or chip, of course, and here's the micro USB connector where this gets powered up from. The next up is the receiver, or RX. And again, RX coil, here's our chip. That's in P9027LP-R. And this is the whole receiver. And you'll notice on this, I'll show you later, we're going to put them together. And we're using the PCB as the spacer between the TX coil and the RX coil. So it's important to get the orientation of the coils right. And we'll talk about more on that when we replace the coils for different wattage kits. Right now, these are the 2 watt kits, 2 watt coils. So the third part is, as I mentioned before, this is a 1, 2, and 3 watt kit. So the 2 watt coils are on the board already, but you can change to make it a 3 watt system or a 1 watt system. And how do you do that? Well, let's say you want to make a 3 watt system. You've got a 3 watt coil that has a white dot on it. It should be this one. That's for the TX. And with that goes a RX 3 watt coil, which has a yellow dot on it. And that would be this guy right here, yellow dot. Yellow dot's on the back. Here's the actual coil. So these two go together, and here's the front of the coil for the TX. It's very easy to tell them apart because the 3 watt, like its big power, sort of, is also a big coil. The 1 watt is a much smaller coil. So here's a TX 1 watt, and you got a red dot. Here's the front of it. And with that, very tiny, is a RX 1 watt with a green dot on the back. Here you can see that. My finger's kind of big compared to the coil, so maybe you can't see that. There you go. And there's the front of it, right like that. Okay, so what I've done here is I put the TX underneath and the RX on top. I just use these nice little vices to place them so that they don't move around on me while I'm unplugging and plugging. So I'm just going to move this aside for a second. You can see here's the TX, here's the TX spacer, and the coil is facing up. Now you want the coils to face each other, so here's the top of the RX board, and here's that RX coil. It's facing down, so it faces the TX. And then, of course, the RX PCB is the RX spacer. You've got a TX spacer and RX spacer. So all I'm going to do is just put them on top of each other so that they lay on top of each other here. So we're going to power up the TX, and you'll see these lights do a little pattern, and then one light will go green and it's ready to go. And then the RX will see that this output here has 5 volts. So here I'm coming in with a micro USB. This is just a wall wart plug. Oh, one thing before I begin, if you're using this 2-watt system, make sure your wall wart has at least 600 milliamps of current capability. If you're going to use the 3-watt, make sure that current capability is more like 800 milliamps. And if you go down and you use a 1-watt system, make sure at least 400 milliamps of current capability on your wall wart. You can look on the wall wart and it will tell you the output voltage, which should be 5 volts, and the current rating, maximum current. So of course more is always better, but those are the minimum limits for a reasonable performance. So see, I plugged it in, light's doing a nice blinking pattern, and then the green goes on. That means it's transmitting. So I'm going to take this DMM, digital multimeter, and just so you don't think I'm lying, I'm going to look at the output voltage, which is right here in the corner. And sure enough, you see 5 volts. So there you go. One last thing, I'm going to remove the RX and put it back on so you can see the functioning. Oh, and here is the RX light that says, hey, I've got output voltage, I'm good to go. So I'm going to remove the RX now and watch these lights right here. Of course the RX green light will go away, there's no more power, but this will go away too. See? So there's no more coil, no lights. Put it back on. There's a green light, you have power, you're ready to go. Okay, what we're going to do now, after seeing the parts energized with 2-watt coils, is we're going to replace it with a 3-watt coil. So what you're going to have to do is take off the TX spacer and then lift the TX coil itself off the PCB, and then lift the RX coil off the PCB. And then what I do is, right here and here is where they're soldered in. They're through-hole solders. So if you just apply some soldering iron here, you can pop them out, and then we'll put the next one in. So first I'm going to take off the TX coil cover. Oops, the TX came off itself. Well, we can work with that too. But here I'm prying the TX coil from the coil cover. There's the coil cover that came off. TX was kind enough to come off by itself. You see these lines here. This is how you center the coil once you put it on. Bigger to smaller is a 3-watt coil, a 2-watt coil, and a 1-watt coil. So before I start my soldering, see it fits in the 2-watt coil spot. Before I start my soldering, I'm going to go over here and lift off the RX 2-watt coil. It came off pretty easy. A little X-Acto knife helps out quite a bit. So I already got my soldering iron warmed up. I'm going to bring that in, and got my little what do you call this, needle nose. And so get in here. I'm applying my solder to one of them, and here it came out. So there's that one wire out. Let's see if I can work from behind so you can see in the camera. I'm doing the second wire here. Just get that soldering iron in there, and it came out. So there's the 2-watt coil off, and here's where it went. I'm going to do the same thing with the 1-watt coil. Let's tin up our soldering tip so it's ready to go. A happy soldering tip is a happy engineer. And so over here you can see again, I'm just going to apply the soldering iron, and that came out pretty easy. Do the other one, and that came out pretty easy. So our 2-watt TX and RX coils are now off, and the next part we're going to put on the 3-watt coils. Okay, so let's just remove these 2-watt TX and 2-watt RX. We don't need those anymore. We are going to need the spacer again. So you can see over here the white dot 3-watt TX. We went over that before. Here it is. I'm going to put this one on the TX, and after that is the yellow dot 3-watt RX. Okay, so let's pick up our TX and The ends look pretty good to go in without any tinning. So we gotta see if we can get out of that camera away so you can see. So remember, the face of the TX coil is going to be up. So let's get some solder on there. Come on, there you go. Woo, went in. Okay, and here's the next one. And let's get that solder here. Get the liquid, get the solder in the whole liquid. It goes in. Voila. So now, we just kind of, what you should do is you should glue this down a little bit. If you got a little bit of like hot glue, that would be good. I'm just going to put it here for now. It sort of stays because the coil, because the wires are a bit rigid. So now I'm just going to slap back on this TX cover. So there we go. Pretty easy. So let's continue with the RX coil. That's the yellow dot. Nice long leads here so we can easy to work with. Now this one, like I said before, the coil face should be down, so the two faces face each other. They really want to be together. Okay, the next part is we're going to put on the RX coil. This is again, it's look at the color code. It's RX 3 watt yellow, and here's yellow. So check. We're doing 3 watts. The coil should be face down, so that when I put the RX on top of the TX, the two coils are facing each other. That's what they like to do. That's how it's designed. So let's get our soldering iron in here again. This is a through hole. There's a lot of solder still in the through holes. I don't need to add any more. So I'm just gonna make that solder go liquid in the hole. Stick the wire in, and that's good to go. Oops, let me get out of the way of your camera there so you can see what's going on. So here we go. Put that down there. And there you go. It's in. It's kind of long. You can shorten these. If you do, make sure before you put it in, you tin off the, see it has a copper color? You burn that off with your soldering iron to expose the wire so that you can solder it in there. But any of this, you can cut it shorter. It's this part of the coil that really matters. So for right now, I'm just going to pull these off to the side like that and set the coil here. And there's some little stickiness there still, so we're good to go. Okay, so we've put on the 3 watt coils, and you can see them here. Here's the TX, and here's the RX 3 watt coil. There, the TX is face up from the board, and the RX is face down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the RX on top of the TX. Now I'm going to bring in my 5 volt micro USB plug. I'm going to have to hold on both sides. And there, I plugged it in. It went red LED, green LED, and then went red and green LED. And this, since I already had the RX on, the green LED stayed on. And that says it has power, which you can see right here. The RX is saying, I'm happy. I have output voltage. And I will show you that again like I did before. Black is ground. The red is V out. And you can see on my meter I've got 5 volts out. So this one can supply up to 3 watts. Okay? So I'm going to take these apart, and you'll see this light go away. Of course, there's no power to the RX, but you also see this light go away, which means it doesn't detect RX anymore. Here we go. Okay, one last thing is, you'll notice that it can see it's on, and it can transfer energy when there's offsets in the coil, but the efficiency is going way down because you're not picking up as much as the field, and it's demanding more and more current through your input. So it's best, if you can, to line it up. That's the best efficiency. And at some point, it just can't transfer anymore, and it will tell you as I go away. See, it says, oh, I'm gone. Okay, the last thing we were going to do here is we're going to break this board down to the minimum optimized, what do you say, real estate area. So we've optimized this board layout to go right into production. For user ease, we put on this coil part, which is not necessary. And we also put on these test points, which aren't absolutely necessary. And that's true for both the TX, I'm sorry, I didn't tilt it up for you. We took this coil off before, so I'm gonna remove it, so it's a little loose right now. But on these boards, this part, these parts are not necessary. The whole circuit area is right here. It's optimized to go right into production. And we highly recommend that you use our layout for optimal performance. Same thing over here with the RX. You don't really need this coil part, or nor these test points on the side. What you only need is the parts that's scored here, that little part right there, the little part around the chip. And you'll see as I break it apart. What I'm going to do right now is break it apart so that you can see exactly how small the area is and how easy it is to access that area just from the board itself. So first thing though is to take off the coils, because not necessary, not completely necessary, but it'll give you a better idea of what I'm doing. You'll be able to see better. That's the reason here. And what you might want to do once you've taken off the extras is you can plant it right on your own product without even doing a circuit board. So I took off the TX 3-watt coil there, and I'm going to take off my RX coil. It's a little squirrely because I took it out of my vise, and it's very light because it's very small. Excuse me. So there, I took off my 3-watt coil. It's giving me problems here. Let's help it along. I think I'm going to need a little X-Acto knife here to wedge it out. There we go. Okay. Whew. Got it off. Okay, so here's what we got. Here's your TX. Here's your RX. So the first part is really easy. We just snip off this this coil support part of the TX. There's no wires going here, so we just snip. And we just go like this. It's already scored. Very easy to do. And let's take off the RX coil part also, since we're on that. Okay. Now the other parts, you could tear these off with your hand. There's wires coming through here because of the test points. So what I recommend is take a take a X-Acto knife. It's already scored. Just drag it along there. You know, drag it along there a couple times, like this, just to get a clean cut. Okay. So that's what I like to do. And then I go like that. Bend it out a little bit, and then we get a little more cut. Just because I want to separate those lines good. There we go. Okay, see, it came right off. So that's one side of the TX, and now I'm going to do the other side. You see how small this is getting? It's highly optimized. So I'm going to turn around. Here's my TX again. Let's do it like 5 times or so. The more you do it, the better. I think that should be enough though. Then I bend it a little bit. Yeah, heard it bend. You do a little more. Okay. And there you go. So this is the minimum TX size. You can see how small it is. My finger for comparison. There you go. Okay, so let's do the same thing on the RX. RX is really, really small. You can see where this would fit, gosh, just about anywhere. Your watch, medical devices, anything portable. And here's the score lines right here and right here. So same deal. I'm gonna score away like that. And then I'm gonna break it. Oh, here to break, give it a little more. Oops. Make sure we get in there. Let's not get too excited. And we break it. There we go. So that's one side. So you notice there's more test area than there is chip area. And we're going to do the other side too. Let's see. I might actually have to hold the test side because it's bigger. The circuit side is too small for me to get my finger in there. So I'm just scoring away. Score, score, score. And then I'm going to break a little bit. Give it a little more score. And then we break. And here is the TX area, really, really small. So these are the minimum areas that you need for a device. Here's your TX and your RX. And that concludes our cutting session. Okay, thank you for watching this video. Again, I'm Brett Ricard, an application engineer here at IDT, and you've been watching a video about our wireless power transmitting solution for 3, 2, and 1 watt systems. So if you want more information and all supporting material, everything you'll ever need to design your product easily and quickly is available at www.idt.com. That's our main website, and then add a /WP3W-RK. Thank you very much.